No.
In honor of the Season 1 finale of The Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, today we're breaking down and reacting to the most brutal and gut-wrenching injuries that happened during the Trial of Seven. Let's get right into it.
Let's go.
Ready? Come on. Oh my god. What? He's the main... You can't do that to the main character. Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it. Come on. Oh. So within the first 10 seconds, Duncan gets stabbed in the lower left quadrant of the abdomen. Now over here, we're going to have the descending colon, we have the sigmoid colon, we have the intestines, so no vital organs, but that's not the ideal start for a life and death situation, okay? I'm just throwing it out there. Now, patients who come into the emergency room after being stabbed in the stomach, the initial big concern is blood loss. Now, when someone has been stabbed and whatever they've been stabbed with is still in their body, you want to leave it in your body until you actually get to a medical facility. That way, as soon as you take it out, you can get care. If you were to try to take it out by yourself, not only do you run the risk of like damaging surrounding structures, but when you take it out, since it acts like a plug, you're exponentially going to increase your blood loss and you can actually die. Just think about it from a perspective of a water bottle. If you were to stab a water bottle, right, if you leave the knife in the water bottle, it's going to leak a little bit, but as soon as you take the knife out, the water's just going to gush all over the place. And it's the same principle. All right, we're back. Our knight in shining armor had a little pre-game jitters. Shake him off. Come on. Take the sword out. Get angry. Come on. What are you doing, man? You act like you've been here before, man. He ate that. Now, people who get hit in the head with an object, the force of the object hitting their head can actually cause their brain to kind of rattle in their skull, and that's the basis for a concussion. But in some cases, if someone's hitting the side of the head, particularly where the skull is just a little thinner, it can cause the skull to actually fracture, and those little tiny bone fragments are so sharp that it will cut the middle meningeal artery. Now, that's an artery that runs on the inside of the skull, and if it gets cut, the blood that flows in that artery will leak into the epidural space, and that's the space between the brain and the skull. And as it leaks, the pressure builds up to the point where it cuts the blood supply off to the brain, and that's how someone dies. So if you come to the ER after getting hit in the head and someone suspects that you have an epidural hematoma, you have to have emergency surgery where a surgeon will drill a hole into your brain and kind of create a hole so it can relieve the pressure and you can live. Come on. You're 9 feet tall. All right. Right in the thigh. This is not going good. Right in the thigh. This is... Now, when Duncan's getting stabbed with the knife, the only thing that's stopping the knife from going all the way through the thigh is actually the femur bone. It's 4 times stronger than concrete. It's actually the strongest bone in their body. The silver lining of this scene, I'm not saying Duncan's doing a good job at all in this fight, but it's much better to be stabbed on the outside of the thigh than it is the inside, because on the outside, we have muscle, we have fat, we have a little more meat to play with, but on the inside, that's where the vasculature runs through. Now, if we fast forward the fight like 2 minutes, Duncan, he gets a beautiful slice of air around his inner thigh and he cuts his femoral artery. Literally the only shot he lands in the whole fight. And when you cut the femoral artery, you lose blood like no other. You lose blood at a rate of 1 liter per minute. And basically you die in like 3 minutes. All that bacteria. No. Yeah. Now, by the looks of it, the knife went in diagonally and vertically, which another silver lining of this glorious performance is that their metacarpal bones also, they lie vertically. So if the knife went in vertically too, it has a higher chance of missing the bone, which was a good sign. And plus there's no bone protruding. But at the same time, your tendons of the hand, they take up more surface area. So the bare minimum, he cut a tendon and he probably won't be able to move his fingers. Now, the muscles responsible for actually moving your fingers are in your forearm, and the tendons, they just act as cables. So every time you flex a muscle in the forearm, you can move your fingers. And if you cut one of those cables or tendons, you can't move your fingers. I think it's safe to say Duncan needs a hand. Carrying on. What the? Is this guy a ninja? Oh my. Oh, but can we just map out all the injuries Ser Duncan got in the first 5 minutes of the fight? I mean, to start it off, he got a chopstick to the left lower quadrant. Then his skull basically made out with the other guy's mace. Then he got stabbed in the left thigh. He tried to catch a knife with his left hand, and then he caught a knife with his right thigh. And to top it all off, now he qualifies to be an extra on Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, when it comes to eye injuries, there's all different types, but they all look super dramatic. Now, your eye is filled with blood vessels, and sometimes, even if you rub your eyes too hard, you can burst those blood vessels, and it will literally look like you have red paint in your eye, because that's how bloodshot it gets. But you treat this with ice packs and they go away by themselves. It doesn't really hurt. But other times, like Ser Duncan over here, if you hit the eye with enough force, not only will the blood vessels burst, but you will also damage the surrounding tissue around the eye orbit. And when you damage that tissue, inflammation happens, and then it fills with fluid. And since your eyelid is very thin, it's thin skin, it's loose skin, it's very easy for that fluid to make your eyelid expand to the point where you won't even be able to open your eyes, so you really can't see. To treat this, all you do is we give the patient an ice pack and the blood vessels constrict, and day by day day, the swelling gets down and eventually heals. But in the 90s, I remember a Rocky movie. Rocky got punched, and in like the later rounds, his face got really, really swollen. And he couldn't see the eye, just like Duncan over here. And he told his coach, like he told the cut man to cut the eye, and it relieved the pressure and he was able to open his eye. That's not true, and that's not safe. All that would do would cause massive bleeding, increase the risk for infection, and it may even increase the swelling. So that's not what you do. That's fake. All right, so the battle's over. So this is the prince who is helping him fight. Everyone loves. He's my favorite characters. Prince Baylor, he was like a nice, good man, and whenever you see a nice person in the Game of Thrones series, they usually die within like 2 episodes, so I expected that. Now, they don't actually show what happens to him on the battlefield, but in the books, they describe this injury as he gets hit with a mace in the back of the head, and that kind of cracks his occipital bone in the back of the skull. But since he's wearing such a tight helmet, the helmet keeps everything together. It's like a lid for life, so when they remove the helmet, everything kind of falls apart and it gets messy. Now, what makes this injury so serious, besides the point that he's missing half his head, is that the occipital bone houses the brainstem, and the brainstem features the medulla oblongata, and the medulla oblongata is responsible for regulating your breathing. So even if as soon as we took off Baylor's helmet, we transported him to like a 2026 ICU, modern ICU, he would still die of respiratory failure because the injury is that serious, and there's nothing you can basically do about it. So after the fight, Duncan went to go see this doctor, and I want to know what he's going to say about all the injuries.
The man is dying, my lord.
What?
His wounds, they have mortified it. It's beyond my abilities.
Oh, yeah, this fucking girl, mate. Beyond your... An itchy asshole is beyond your abilities, my friend. Be gone!
If you enjoyed this video, please do me a huge favor and smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. This was the Doctor's Diagnosis, and I can't wait to see you next time.